What's up guys, welcome back to my channel, and I welcome you to a new video of a brand new series that I'm starting called the True Crime series. So this idea was given to me by, or I would say suggested to me by a friend of mine who I was talking to for a while about what I should upload on YouTube, because the thing is I've been uploading a bunch of different kind of videos for now and then, and now I'm confused as to what to upload. So I thought, why not just talk about like thrilling true crime stories that have a lot of depth in them, and a lot of like murders and gory details in them, which I'm sure you guys would like. So moving on, and I know I haven't uploaded in like over like a month, and for those who watch and for those who don't watch, it's all right, but for those who watch my videos, and I haven't been consistent because of some issues, and now that you can see I have a new camera set up and the quality is clearer, and I think my audio is better. So anyway, I'm gonna upload more videos on my channel. I'm gonna upload more podcasts on my channel, the second channel as well, now that I have a better camera and better audio equipment. All right, so in today's video, as is the first video, I'm going to be talking about one of the most popular true crime cases, or I would say just one of the most infamous murder, or one of the most infamous cases of all time, which, by the way, has never been solved. Some people say it was solved, but like realistically, it's never been solved yet. If you know what I'm talking about, I think if you guessed it, maybe you guessed it right. But if you don't, let me tell you what it is. I'm talking about the Zodiac Killer. So, I'm sure you've heard about the movie Zodiac, starring Robert Downey Jr. and Mark Ruffalo and Jake Gyllenhaal. If you haven't, I suggest you please watch that movie, because that's a brilliant movie. And if you watch the movie, then you know what I'm talking about. And if you're not, let me give you context. So this is about the Zodiac Killer. Now, when we hear the word Zodiac, what do we understand by Zodiac? Zodiac is like astrology and horoscopes, and every person born has a Zodiac sign, right, assigned to them. Like, I'm a Sagittarius and you might be a Leo or a Capricorn, whatever. So the Zodiac Killer was someone who was infamous for leaving out huge ciphers or messages that he would send to the cops after committing the murder. But let me get into that later. Okay, so this case took place in the year 1968 to 1969, all the way to the 1970s, okay? And the Zodiac Killer is someone who has never ever been found out, like has never been discovered, and nobody knows who the person is. There were people who the murders were linked to, and there were suspicions, and there were people who were suspects, but it's never been confirmed who the real murderer was, or the real person was behind those killings. So the question is, how many people did he kill, right? He was a serial killer, and he killed up to 5 people, but he claims that he's killed over 30 people in total, but the bodies that were found were 5 people, and the distinctive way the 5 bodies people were killed, the 5 bodies were found, were the Zodiac Killer's pattern, or you could say signature style. So, like, let me give you an example. Like, the first murder that he committed was in 1968, and it was the murder of 2 students, high school students, who were out on a date, and they were in the car. I guess they were sitting on like a hillside place, and the place was quiet and empty, and there was no one there. And so, as it's shown in the movie, that the Zodiac Killer, who comes and his face is never revealed, he comes and he kills the 2 students, the guy and the girl. So they're teenagers. And that was the first murder he committed. And surprisingly, there are murders, and there are like people who are killed almost every day, every part of the world. But that doesn't make them, like breaking news. The reason this became huge news is because as soon as the cops, let me just say, the department of Vallejo is a place, and the department, that was the area that was assigned to the investigation, the department of Vallejo. Then they started getting deeply involved in this, and when they started investigating, they started getting letters. Okay, now the Zodiac Killer was a prominent serial killer because of the way he communicated. Now, there have been cases when a murderer or a serial killer would leave clues, or would send letters, or try to communicate with the cops, but it's just basic like some they were like no, they weren't as intriguing as the Zodiac Killer, because the Zodiac Killer, what he would do is he would send you, the cop, a letter, and assuming the cop would be like, okay, I'm gonna open the letter and read it, but guess what? It's bunch of numbers and letters and bunch of like ciphers that from every weird possible permutation combination of languages in the world. And if you were to read it, or if, let's just say, a person who's even super smart were to read it, you wouldn't understand what it was. But because there's one theory that whoever the killer was I think a super genius, because you know there is something called as logical reasoning, okay? And I know this because, and most people know what this is, because when you study for like an entrance exam, or like you study to become a doctor or do an MBA or whatever, you have to give these entrance exams, especially in India, where you have to study for this part called logical reasoning, which tests how your like analytical thinking brain works, and are you are you able to figure out puzzles and a bunch of things, right? So people who the Zodiac Killer made them, when he sent those ciphers, he made sure that every cipher meant something, right? And then there was a message in the letter, but he made it in such a way that if you were smart enough to understand his mindset, then only could you decipher it and understand what he sent you, right? So that was the case. Cut to the lead journalist, who was not, I wouldn't say journalist, but the person who was working with the Walayha department. He decided to, go through his old books of logical reasoning or abstract reasoning, and he just started figuring it out, that what these ciphers meant. And then he helped the cops decipher the first letter, which said that basically that this is the first killing, and he loves killing, and how killing gives him joy. And that's when the cops then started like revealing it to the media, and then the media revealed it to the public that there was a serial killer out loose, and this is his message. Cut to, as soon as things started getting calm and people almost forgot about the murder, he committed a second murder, then he committed a third murder, and the fourth, and the fifth. And after each murder, he will leave a letter to the cops with the same ciphers in them for the cops to decipher and reveal a message. And there was a moment when the cops managed to get him to talk to them on live television, and he didn't know, or apparently he knew it was live television or something, but he was so smart, I would say. I mean, whoever the guy was, he was brilliant, because he beat the cops at their own game using his brain power. Because think about it, people who have committed murders, like serial killers or whatever, they eventually get caught after a while because their own actions lead the cops to catch them. But this guy was a genius, I would say, in many ways, and it's sad that he chose to do this. But if he would have put that energy towards something else, he would have done great things in life. Because the way the Walayha department got so rattled that they couldn't find him, ultimately all the clues led to a person, and I will show his name down there. So ultimately it led to a person. That person, when the cops went to investigate him, he had similar, I would say, characteristics to the Zodiac Killer, and the way he spoke and the way he did things in the past, and other witnesses that spoke about him, there was a 90% chance that this guy was the Zodiac Killer. But then there was a 10% chance that maybe he's not, maybe he's just a normal person, because he did seem like a normal person, but he had done some weird shit in the past as well, right? So after a while, the cops, started moving on, and then years passed, like it's 3 years, and after a while, the Zodiac Killer this fades into the abyss, and into oblivion, and he just disappears. And till today, the case has never been solved. It's a really scary thing that someone can get away with a murder. Think about it. Those two high school students who went out just to enjoy the time of the day, like night, and just have a good time together, they got killed. And the 4 other people who got killed. It's just a sad thing, and it's scary that people like this existed back in the day, and now, even today, we might think that we're safe and sound in like a big city or whatever, But you never know when. It's all it takes is one bad day for a psycho to go crazy, and once the deed is done, it's done. You can't go back to save the person, right? Like one of the things that the Zodiac Killer did was there was a lady, and she was I think she needed, I think a car broke down, so this guy offers her a ride. He's like, why don't you come in my car? I will take you. I'll drop you. It's okay. So she had a kid with her. So obviously the Zodiac Killer, she was like, okay, I have a kid with me. I said, fine. So he's like, sure, come on in. And turns out that the Zodiac Killer was the one who flattened her tires out so that she's forced to be stranded on the street so that he could give her a lift. And they took the baby from her hand and he threw it out of the window and tried to kill her. Before he could kill her, she jumped out the door. She opened the door and she jumped out of the car, went back to the baby, looked for her, and then turns out that was Zodiac Killer. She got saved because she was smart and she was quick on her feet, or she would have been dead. That would have been the 6th murder in total. So, like, in conclusion, this was like a short video, but I'm testing it out now, and I will go into detail. And from people who want to know more about this, you can just look up the Zodiac Killer, who it is, who or what he is actually, and watch the movie Zodiac, because that movie is amazing and it gives you a perspective, or like a POV from the journalists and the detectives and everyone's perspective towards the Zodiac Killer. It's a genius movie, and if you watch it, you just blow your mind how weird and crazy those times were. 1970s, 1969 is weird and dangerous for people and youngsters to be outdoors at night because there was a crazy lunatic, going out killing people. So that was the end of the video. I hope you guys liked this video, and I will continue to make more videos. Thank you so much for watching. Peace out. Bye-bye.